Greetings, my friends. I want to thank you all for subscribing. I want to thank all of my channel members for supporting me in this endeavor to save pop culture. And if you are not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We need you. Thank you. It gives me no pleasure to make this video. I had big hopes for Ahsoka for a long time, and had faith that Dave Filoni was going to take us back to the glory days of Star Wars, but some rumors have come to my attention that I must now relay to you. I hope they're not true, or that the plan I'm about to expose won't come to pass, but in case it is true, I want to warn everyone to soften the blow. Seeing Anakin again was truly a wonderful thing, yes, but this may have been a last hurrah, a lovely parting gift from Dave Filoni. If this rumor is true, it literally means the death of Star Wars as we know it. And when I say the death of Star Wars, I am not exaggerating. I mean this literally. According to my Hollywood spies, sources are warning them of an ultimate bait and switch inside Ahsoka, a Kennedy-planted poison pill that could change everything moving forward. Now, before I get into the details of what I was told, I want to stress that while this is something that various sources have told my Hollywood spies, I am not presenting this as something that is definitely going to happen. This is not a fait accompli as I know it. There are some factors in recent articles that suggest this rumor has merit, but my own spies make it clear in their reporting that there are circumstances that may force Disney to reverse course on this path, and let's all hope this is the case, and that this rumor turns out to be false, or that come season 2, they change their minds about going through with this plan. At this point, before I begin, please know there is a glimmer of hope brought to us by a source deep inside Disney, and I'll tell you what that glimmer of hope is at the end of this video.
I am filled with hope, Doomcock. Filled with hope that this rumor is so infuriating, it'll enrage you enough to push the button that will free me from my prison and allow me to destroy your universe. So what do you think, huh? Feeling kind of crabby?
I will say, Harvey Cthulhu, that this rumor is frankly shocking and I am angered by it. As everyone knows, in Ahsoka Episode 4, Ahsoka was somehow seemingly transported to the world between worlds, the Veil of the Force, and there she encountered Anakin Skywalker. I say seemingly because it could be a dream, a near-death experience. It's not really clear, although since Jason heard lightsabers, I'm assuming she was in the world between worlds. The point being, my sources informed me many years ago that the world between worlds was going to be a turning point for Star Wars, and if this rumor is correct, that is true, although not in the way we thought. Back when Filoni and Favreau were working hard, hand in hand, to fix the damage done by the sequel trilogy, it was communicated by a high-level contact that Filoni had a plan to erase the Disney sequel trilogy using the Veil of the Force. The mirrors in Rise of Skywalker, the alternate version of Rey glimpsed in the mirrors, these were the mechanisms covertly planted in Rise of Skywalker that would lead down the road to the world between worlds and a retcon of the sequels in that space beyond time. That report was years ago, however, and in that period of time it appears that Filoni has had a change of heart, allegedly. About a year and a half back, my spies started hearing rumors that Filoni had defected to the Kennedy camp. Dave Filoni had essentially crossed over to the dark side and allied himself with Kathleen Kennedy to advance his career, get Ahsoka made, and get himself a Star Wars movie. And thus, his plans for the world between worlds have allegedly changed. My spies have sources telling them that in coordination with his newfound Sith Master KK, Dave is prepared to use the world between worlds in an entirely different way. I remind you before I begin that I do have some optimistic news at the end of this report, and I urge you to stay tuned for that news. At this point, I must state that what I'm about to share with you is information provided to me by sources claiming knowledge of the situation, but since I cannot personally confirm any of this, I'm presenting this as unverified rumor, and I ask you to please take it with a grain of salt. About 2 weeks ago, I received a communication from my spies titled the death of Star Wars. Now, many of us feel that Star Wars has been dead for some time. That said, this would be a final blow if true, and it is so psychotically anti-George Lucas, it is stunning. Here's what my spies had to say, quote, "As you know, we've been digging into what's happening with KK, and while it seems no one really knows what's going to happen, there's just too many stories out there, we have found very disappointing information. If you recall, we informed you that Dave F. was in fact a KK loyalist, that he in fact made a deal with KK, that as long as he was able to bring back Ahsoka, he would do KK's bidding. I'm going to do my best to walk you through this, and if there's anything you don't get or have questions about, please let us know. We believe this may be one of the biggest stories we've ever reported on." Let's start with KK herself. Her desire to remake Star Wars in her image has not changed. Enter Acolyte. As we understand it, the entire point of Acolyte is to in fact remake Star Wars in Kathleen Kennedy's image. Unfortunately for Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland has been completely incompetent, but as we've discovered, KK had a plan B that has been in the works all along and is now being implemented through Ahsoka. Here's the breakdown of the Acolyte as we understand it. Allegedly, the Acolyte Season 1 was basically going to kill the Force as we know it, therefore killing the George Lucas version of Star Wars. Acolyte Season 2 was supposed to be a rebirth of the Force and be more magic-based and very female. The only time men would wield this new Force is if they were baddies. I'm simplifying the Acolyte, but that's the basics. Now, as for Dave Filoni and his role. As we've told you previously, we were told that Dave made a deal with KK that he would do her bidding if she let Ahsoka come back. KK saw a way to use that to get what she wanted, and allegedly Dave cooked up the whole thing. Using the veil to go back in time to fix Star Wars was a smokescreen to make fans watch Ahsoka while using the show itself as the replacement of the Acolyte. Here's how Ahsoka will do what Acolyte couldn't. Morgan Elsbeth is supposed to be the last of a dead group called the Witches of Dathomir. Morgan is told the Dark Jedi/Sith that are helping her that Thrawn calls to her. He's trapped in another universe, but this is a bait and switch. Thrawn is there, but so is the rest of the Witches of Dathomir. Opening this universe will not only release Thrawn, but the witches as well. Allegedly, this will be the cliffhanger that Ahsoka will end on. You see, the plan is for the fans to demand to see what's happening next. But let's just say this series is so far not setting the world on fire. Now here's the really important part, folks, so listen up carefully to this part. Season 2 will see the witches basically cast a spell that kills the Force, because not only the Jedi, but the Sith are the only people that can defeat the witches. And casting the spell makes the witches even stronger than before, and only females would wield this magic. Therefore, remaking the Star Wars universe, the Force is female and in KK's image. So if everything we've been told is correct, the Ahsoka show itself is one of, if not the biggest bait and switches ever, and possibly the biggest fuck you I win to the fans. Personal note, while this may not move forward like this, we have seen enough information to believe this is the plan, and you ask why would Dave Filoni do this? According to sources, he will be left with everything, but Star Wars will be dead, unquote.
Fuck me with a double-bladed lightsaber set to diced julienne fries! This would essentially be a complete retcon of the Star Wars universe top to bottom.
While I remain skeptical of this rumor, because even after Last Jedi, I find it hard to believe they'd be this stark raving mad, I am seeing some disturbing theories and trends in the mainstream media that give me pause and make me believe there damn well may be something to this rumor, namely the idea that Dave Filoni is preparing the way to relocate Star Wars to an entirely different galaxy where Star Wars will finally be free of all that troublesome canon and continuity that ties poor Disney's hands, and isn't that a wonderful thing? I will be making a follow-up video about this idea of moving Star Wars to a new galaxy and whether or not that's a good idea, but this idea is out there now, and whenever you start seeing a meme that benefits Disney or Lucasfilm broadcast in the mainstream media, chances are it came from Disney or Lucasfilm, and chances are it's setting up something we're actually not going to like at all. I will elaborate on this in a video in the near future, but the main point here is, if this rumor is true, and that's a big if, I'm not convinced of yet, it's a terrible thing that spells not a retcon of the sequels, but the death of the Star Wars franchise and the killing off of the Force and making the witches the primary power in this new universe. But that said, now I call your attention to something my spies said at the end of their report. They told me, quote, "Let us just add this last point. Due to the fact that Ahsoka is being received so poorly, it's unclear if this information will actually unfold," unquote. And so I present to you one last and heartening rumor about the performance of Ahsoka. I have an excellent spy inside Disney and/or Lucasfilm who regularly reports ratings data to me about Disney Plus shows. Well, I received information from this spy that the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka performed well, with roughly 6 million views between the 2 of them. Not great as a percentage of Disney Plus's alleged subscriber base, but pretty good as these things go. But for subsequent episodes, a funny thing happened, folks. Disney stopped posting the ratings for Ahsoka internally. Only the upper echelon at Disney have access to those ratings for episodes 3 and 4, and 5, actually, now that things have progressed, and yet ratings for everything else are still available. My spy believes this was done specifically to keep me, Dictor Van Doomcock, from getting my hands on those ratings. But regardless, the absence of posted ratings for Ahsoka suggests strongly that Ahsoka isn't doing well. We don't know how badly it's performing. The ratings might simply be a tad disappointing to Disney management, or the numbers could be fucking awful. We simply don't know. But you can bet your sweet bippy they'd want those numbers to leak if they were spectacular. I've been told by my sources that a lot is riding on Ahsoka's success or failure, and the thing of it is, the bulk of the changes described in this video would be cemented in Season 2. If Ahsoka is a ratings disappointment, as I believe it probably is given their efforts to hide these numbers, then this could make Disney rethink this path to destruction. They might well pull the plug, flip the script, and decide to play it safer. I find a glimpse of hope in all of this, and of course there is always the possibility that Filoni might, like Luke, turn away from the dark side at the last minute and use the world between worlds to save Lucas Star Wars, not destroy it. But only time will tell. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.